The oldest house in the U.S. is currently for sale. No kidding. For only $800,000, 2,500 square feet. 17th century home. It was built before America was even its own country. God damn. The current owners have meticulously restored and maintained this home for the last 31 years. That's crazy. Show pic? Oh, yeah. Look at that, huh? Move outside the city, you get all this for 800 grand. Probably super inconvenient to live in, though. Like, there's probably a lot of modern amenities. House flippers would love to destroy this. Me buying this house so that I can, like, undo everything, replace the floorboards with, like, a distressed gray, paint the walls gray, trim white, and then put it on the market for twice the price. Let's go. Fuck millennial gray. Yeah. Remove the beams in the ceiling. I don't know if you can remove those. What's millennial gray? You've seen it. Don't worry. I think I talked about this on stream before, but I remember reading a blog post where somebody was talking about how nobody makes rooms in houses for a specific purpose anymore. Like, every room is just a box that you're meant to move furniture into. Nothing is constructed with the specific purpose. I guess maybe like the kitchen, because it has the natural gas. Like, you know, it's kind of designed for that, but otherwise, it doesn't really, everything's just a little box. Housing in general just isn't treated as permanent anymore. Yeah, people are pretty much expected to rent. What's wrong with this house? I didn't say anything. I mean, it's not a matter of what's wrong with the house, it's just the house is old as fuck, right? Look at it. Aesthetically, I mean, what's wrong with it? I don't know. It's a preference thing. Wow. Not even installing an authentic 17th century fridge. Okay. Thought we were doing restoration, but whatever. You have to paint this fridge like wood. You know what I mean? You have to give it like a wood grain kind of look. God damn, dude. Look at this. Where's the icebox with the salted meats? Isn't it crazy that for a really long time, the way you kept stuff cool was there would be ships that would go out to the Arctic and they would cut up ice into blocks and then bring it back down to like London and cut it up into little blocks and sell it, and you would just keep it in a cooler and put it in your drinks. And it was like, yeah, I'm wealthy. I have ice cubes. That's not true. That can't be. That's true. Completely true. Arctic ice harvesting, 19th century. The ice trade, also known as the frozen water trade, was a 19th and early 20th century industry centering on the east coast of the US and Norway, large-scale harvesting and transport and sale of natural ice. Look at this. This is real, man. Bathe in the history. Look at this. They had these big ice hooks they'd use to drag it along the ground. This was a full-on thing. How did it not melt? Because they'd go during the winter time. They'd go up there where there was tons and tons of ice to harvest, and then they would bring it back when it was cold enough that it wouldn't melt in their stores. They'd get it in like cellars in the ship. I mean, you know, I'm sure a lot of it melted. Would you buy ice if you had to? I wonder how much it cost. Wealthy members of the European elite. Tudor shipped ice to the Caribbean isle of Martinique. Man, you know that shit had to be valuable. The Caribbean isle? Oh my God. The citizens of New York City and Philadelphia became huge consumers of ice during their long, hot summers. Additional ice was harvested from the Hudson River in Maine to fulfill the demand. God damn. Was there no way to actually freeze ice domestically back then? Nope. Up until refrigeration, like basically modern refrigeration tech, you know? There was literally no way to remove heat from a system. That was just not technology that we had. It's pretty easy to add heat to a system. But before that, there was this method. How was ice made before the invention of the refrigerator? Oh, yeah, you make an ice house. Yeah. You try to, like, construct an environment where a bunch of water freezes, and then you take it. But there was no way to just remove heat from a system. My grandpa's first job was delivering ice. Well, probably not under these conditions. Ice manufactured near Allahabad in 1828 by skimming ice from water-filled pots. Dude, this is just wild to me. This looks like it's so inefficient. First of all, why the top of little pots? Second of all, what environment are you in where ice is freezing on top of the water, but you're all shirtless? What are you doing? What's happening here? Refrigeration did exist back then, it just wasn't widespread. Oh, artificial refrigeration began in the mid-1750s, developed in the early 1800s. In 1834, the first working vapor compression refrigeration using the same tech as air conditioner system was built. I didn't know that. Okay, my apology. I thought it was a little later than that. My guess is that the earlier versions of this technology were very inefficient and expensive compared to, like, just sending a ship up to a frozen river, you know? Ice houses existed in the 300 BC. I mean, that's not really what we're talking about. Excuse me. I mean, you need to compress stuff. You can do that mechanically. Compress water? You can't compress water. Why did it take so long to invent AC then? Well, you have to do that in kind of like a big scale for it to be useful, right? Cullen used a pump to create a partial vacuum over a container of diethyl ether, which then boiled, absorbing heat from the surrounding air. The experiment created a small amount of ice, but had no practical application for the time. Huh, interesting. Yeah, I know what an ice house is, guys. We're talking about refrigeration, Son of Ra. We're talking about refrigeration. Vapor compression refrigeration cycle, production of ice. A similar attempt was made in 1842 by an American physician who worked to work a prototype, but it was a commercial failure. Please look up Windcatcher. No! You're all talking about, I'm talking about refrigerators, and you're all, I look in chat, icebox. Hey, what about this other thing? What about ice houses? We're talking about refrigerators. ADHD motherfuckers. I took my Adderall this morning. Get on that shit. We're looking at fridges. Bask in the fucking majesty of the fridge. We're not talking about other stuff right now. Why are we talking about refrigerators? Like, I don't mind, but what's the context? Rewind the VOD! So you can find there is no context. Ice houses were large-scale fridges in ancient Iran. No, they weren't. A fridge removes heat from a system, not just is a cold box to put things in. You people have no attention span, man. You can never just appreciate what's in front of you. It's always like, hey, can we divert to my topic? You must be insufferable to talk to in social situations. Oh, that's a great story about how your dog beat cancer. You know what that reminds me of? The video game I've been playing. Come on! Stay on topic. Apparently there were ice famines. That's a funny term. An ice famine was a scarcity of commercial ice, usually during the hot summer months, common before widespread use of the fridge, often resulted in widespread spoilage of food and medicines, and in some instances in death from heat stroke. Yeah, that makes sense. But that's not refrigeration, Posadish John. I mean refrigeration. Hey, I'm sorry your dad died. That reminds me of a time a dad died in the show I've been watching. True.